Good job, Bill.
Got it.
Is it working? You can hear it?
Good.
It's like my music background does sound good.
You're a professional.
Yeah, you guys are all.
I'm useless when it comes to technology. So.
Can you recall it for?
What is the name of this official board?
You are the
7:33.
Common Council Community Development Committee.
We're calling to order the City of Kingston Common Council CDBG Committee,
CD.
Community Development Board.
Committee.
It says
Committee.
right,
Oh, goodness,
it
we
says
gotta
right
get
on
that.
top, right on top of your agenda.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
That's a
The
C.
Kingston Community Development.
Okay, the City
Committee.
of Kingston Community Development
Oh, I
Committee.
right.
It's a lot of C's in there. Alrighty, so we're here to talk about the Mayor Noble's recommendations, recommended allocations for the 2019 CDBG entitlement funding. And he received our advisory board recommendations last month, and the mayor went over this, and he sent out communication to me as well as all the Jim Noble, and so I guess I'll just tell you he had only one change to this and recommendations only for the funding, and that was to remove $3,000 from the City of Kingston's CPTED program and add that 3,000 into the City of Kingston Parks and Recreation's Creative Opportunity for Youth program. And his reasoning for that is that he was stated that the City of Kingston and the police and building safety will be able to, he says that they should be able to put that in their next year's budget and that money, and he feels that this program, CDBG allocation funding, whenever possible, should be being allocated for youth programs or for things that are going to help the youth in this community. So that's why he was suggesting, because if you remember, so we cut that considerably, the City of Kingston's Creative Opportunities for Youth program. Originally we asked for $30,000 and we allocated a little over $19,000. And so that's what his recommendations. Let's open up for discussion now if anybody wants to discuss it. Bill?
First of all, I think that's the least amount he's ever changed. So I think either the committee did a really good job, or he's coming around.
Yes.
That way.
Yes.
He did not have any record. He just said, he wanted to commend the advisory board. He knows that it's hard decisions to make. It's not an easy process. And again, as Bill stated, there was only one small change, if we want to say small change, to the allocation funding.
I don't have a, I don't have a problem with his change. I would have suggested putting it into the read and write program to make that whole at 15. That would be the only thing I would change. And again, because I think maybe we could find money for some of the youth programs within the city. But I understand. I understand where he's coming from as well. So it's not a huge thing, but that would be the only other thing I would say to that.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I actually thought the same thing. I do feel bad for Septet because they asked for money last year and we said no last year as well. And now we're taking away again from them this year. But with the Read and Write program, I was thinking the same exact thing. Let's put it there because it is the City of Kingston Parks and Rec. It's the City of Kingston. Like, I keep harping on that, you know. That would only be my recommendation. I mean, should we not do it, I'm fine with that, but.
Jeffrey, Andrew?
I mean, I was set coming in here just going with the mayor's recommendation, which is very minute I was happy with that, but I'm not going to argue with what you're saying either, so.
Jeffrey?
I'm okay either way.
The only thing is I believe if we were to recommend that 3,000 go to the Read and Write program, then it has to go back to the mayor and for the changes, or does he not approve it, and then that would be another month, I think. You hold me correct, Brent?
Yeah, it doesn't have to go back to the mayor, but it is opposite of what the whole advisory board originally suggested. If you don't, you know what I mean? Like, he's moving city money to city money.
Mm-hmm. Correct. That's another thing is we need, it's city, it's this thing that we were talking about, city money in the Parks and Recs. The TED is city money as well. And that if we're gonna say the city can find money for city parks and recs, same thing, the city can find that $3,000 for this SEPTAT.
And that's exactly what he said, that they could put it into their budget next year, right?
That's what he
I think he also indicated that there might also be additional grant money for that. They're looking into other ways of paying for that program as well, I think, too, I believe. I think that's what the email said, if I remember correctly.
But yeah, like Brenda said, it's not taking away from any other organization,
Right.
giving it
It's
to the
from
city. It's from city to city.
City,
Right.
which is what as what Brent is saying, that's what we approved, the advisory board approved,
Right.
to give $3,000 to a city program, and now he's saying, okay, I'm gonna, my recommendation is to take it from this one city program, put it in this other one, and next year's budget for the building safety, they should be putting that line item in, or we'll make sure they have allocation for it. Jeffrey?
No, I also think, I don't know if this factor into his reasoning, but I think something to keep in mind for next time is that they asked for 10,500 and we allocated 3,000. Maybe it would benefit us to think about that, that they clearly couldn't complete the program for 3,000.
Well, I think what that was just for training.
For the training.
So that's what we did. We separated it. They asked for the 10.5, but they said 3,000 would go towards training. And so we said, okay, we can't give them the full ask, but let's give them the money for the training.
Right, but I'm saying maybe it's better for us to think about in the future of, instead of giving somebody a little bit for something, to do part of the program, if they can't do the whole program for what we can give them, then put it toward, which is what he did, basically. Put it toward another program that brings it closer to their ask.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I mean, I'm assuming everybody received this letter, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then, SEPTED, how will they know that they could put this in their budget for next year or
So
what?
Steve Knox met with the mayor to talk about that change. He's aware of it and is aware of it.
Okay.
So he'll have to ask for it in his budget next year.
Okay.
If they decide to do that, he'll have to ask for it in the budget.
That changes my whole, I didn't know that he met with Steve.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah,
Okay.
he didn't just take that without consulting him and seeing what the effect would be.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be department budget or obtained through grant sources next year for the CDBG. I believe it's critical right now that we make sure that our youth are supported through various programs at both the Rondout and the Hodge community centers. Okay.
And just
Yeah.
to clarify, I'm sorry, to clarify the process, we've already done the advisory board, we've already heard the mayor's recommendations. You decide as the common council committee tonight what your recommendation will be at
to the
caucus
full
to the full board.
Full board.
And, to the full council, sorry. And if the mayor chose to veto, he could, but this is, your decision will be the recommendation to the full council, right?
Right, he'd have to veto the whole thing.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so we
Well-
can really do what we want. Can I
Yeah,
say this?
yeah.
And does that, I mean, I know you were uncomfortable going off the 30, but does that put you closer to, I mean, obviously puts you closer where you need to be, but does
So
that?
this is actually Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
not.
Right, because
She's not part of that.
Family Woodstock, you guys got the full ask.
Oh, forget it then, never mind.
She's a family Woodstock.
Family Woodstock got the full
Yes.
ask.
I can tell you.
Oh, I'm
that-
sorry, I'm getting confused.
So Parks and Rec, last month Kevin was here.
Kevin, yes.
And he talked about, I think it was
Right.
kitchen
Yeah,
stuff that had to be
That
done
was-
and
that was under
flooring.
That was under the
That was in the
project.
project.
Oh, that was the project.
Yes.
All right, so, but
I
Kevin,
think this is
Kevin
just really
is
to fund the
more-
youth
The
programs.
programs.
This is
Yeah.
really just to fund the youth programs,
Fund their seasonal staff.
the seasonal
During
staff.
the after school in the summertime.
Correct.
Field trips.
Which will now be.
which was, again, they were asking for 30,000, and with the, if we, do the new allocation, is 22,000, a little over 22, so it's 7,000 less than what they asked for in that program. And again, I don't mean, anybody has any more questions, or anybody want to, make a motion?
I'll make a motion to, unless anybody has any questions or anything, but I'll make a motion to accept the mayor's recommendations as is.
Anybody want to second it?
I'll second.
Jeffrey, second. Open up for discussion?
Can we make a motion to make a change? Or can I make a motion to move?
Well, first we got that motion on there, you just said
Okay.
that. So, anybody in discussion in regard to this motion to accept the mayor's thing? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm on the fence, I wanna hear what Bill has to say.
So that, right now, so you guys, one's on the fence,
So, yeah.
two's on the fence.
I mean, I guess I would say no, because I would
Okay.
have liked to make an amendment to move the 3,000 instead to the read and write program.
Right, so you put
That'd
that
be my
motion out there?
Yes.
Motion to put the 3,000 into the read and write program.
Right.
Anyone want to second that?
I second that.
Any discussion? No discussion on it. So we have two different motions out here in regard to this 3,000.
Well, would we vote? We would vote on this one then, right?
Then we have to vote on that. We voted the last one, yeah. It was 3-2-2.
So I guess it's going to be
Yeah,
the same.
yeah,
probably.
it's
Same thing, right?
I mean,
So
So who was the deciding?
Wait,
He's
did
the
you
he's
vote?
the
I voted
tiebreaker.
yes.
Well, no.
Oh, you
So
did.
it was 3-2, so this
Oh,
one
it'll
will be
be the same
2-3.
So it'll be
So
2-3.
it's-
So it's just going to be 2-3.
So it would
The
still
vote
would be
stays
the same thing, yeah.
I mean, my only, I know Teresa, the read and write programs, when she had her speech, she stated that, we gave her less funding last year, and if we can get as close to that 15,000, that'd be great. And I think we did move in the right direction, and where, we allocated 12,000 instead of, I believe, is like 9,000 maybe last year. I can't remember off the top of my head. 10,000. So we moved in the right direction. And is it the full amount? No. But many of these programs who asked for the full amount didn't get the full amount as well. So that's the only reason why, I was going to go with the mayor's recommendations, because we have gone through this. We allocated more for that. I mean, we could sit here and talk about some of the other programs as well, and that didn't get full funding as well. And not to say not any of these programs are not worthy of it, but as he said, the advisory board went through that. We had a long, great discussion on it, and it was at that time determined that the city of Kingston one of those programs would get $3,000. Now the mayor's come back and said that in next year's budget, they would be able to budget for that training program, which is what we allocated for, just the training. And he's saying that could be budgeted so that 3,000 could go to, more funding could go to the city of Kingston's youth program for the city of Kingston, which again is a very important program for the youth, especially during the summer and the summer months when school's out. That's gonna be very beneficial for these guys in the parks. That's sort of my speech.
Well, I think we probably could echo the same
Oh,
thing
yeah, exactly.
for
Yes.
the read and write program. It's not, it's an ongoing program throughout the season. And we actually gave fully funded 5 of the programs here. And all having to do with the youth, most of them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Boys and Girls Club.
Boys and
Family
Girls
Awards-
Club funded. Boys and Girls Clubs 2 funded.
Both, they got the full ask on both of their
Family
their asks,
Woodstock.
Family Woodstock, and they all have to do with youth.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a
Providing
lot of youth
programs
here.
for the
I don't. No other program got fully funded. I mean, Sunray, if you're saying 1,800.
Well, I'm specifically
services.
focusing on
Yeah.
the youth programs.
Well, you said 5, and I was just.
Well, yeah, you're right.
It's only really those 2, family, and if you count Family Woodstock, so it's 3 programs that got fully funded. And
Having to do with the youth.
having to do with the youth. I mean, Creative Center had to do with the youth. We actually dropped them or remained about what they got. I think we actually gave them less than what they got last year, if I recall right. Let me see here. Go Beyond Greatness X for 10, so that was $3,000 less. The internship was down for the Kingston. Legal services, they don't per se have to do with the youth. And then the Read and Write program, and that actually went up from what we allocated to them last year. I mean, again, it's oranges, apples and apples, oranges on the side. We could go back and forth where that 3,000 would go, but I know. Anybody else? I want to seem like it's just me making the decision.
No,
I just think it's
no,
the
it's fine.
closest.
They're all, like you said, they're all
worthy
worthy
programs.
causes. They're
All worthy
and
programs.
A lot of them
and-
apply that, they overlap with kids, so that's good. I think it's.
I just think it's, I mean, yeah, any one of these, it would be great to throw an extra $3,000 at. I just think it's closest to the advisory board recommendation because it's just city to city to keep the mayors. That's why I made the motion to do so. But I think since we have the motion, we voted on it.
Then we never voted on this motion, which was motion to pass, to allocate $3,000 to the Read and Write program. That was.
But so
Yeah.
technically, legally, if both motions just pass, then that's.
Well, I don't
No,
think
we
you
don't
had
think-
a full vote on
I don't think we ever
first
voted
motion.
on that. I think we still have more discussion on
I think
that.
the 3 of you voted and they were on the fence.
Correct.
I don't think you had a full vote on the first motion.
Uh,
And then the second motion, you didn't even
Because they
vote
said they
on
were
that.
referring, we haven't voted on the second motion. So in the first regard to the first motion that was on the board, to leave the mayor's recommendations as is, it was a first and a second. We took a vote, 3 of us were in favor, 3
You
of
did
us,
not vote.
2 didn't vote. So I'm not sure if it's on the fence or
I will.
no.
Well, I'll vote no.
Okay.
Just
No,
because,
no,
just to go on record, because I would
All
prefer
right,
it going the other
okay.
way, but I reserve the right to change my mind at council, because obviously I don't want to hold up, a whole project because of that, but, I'll stick for the committee's sake, I'll be a no vote on that.
All right. And so it was 2 no, 3 to 2, and then obviously then was a motion to allocate. So we still would have to attain that, right?
But I don't think you need to do that because you've
Because
already
you-
had a
Yeah,
majority
okay,
vote.
all right.
Yeah.
So this was on the record. So, so it's passed 3-2, the mayor's recommendation,
Committee report?
and we need a committee report. Oh. Mhm.
Do we have to vote on this portion of it, or?
Do we have to, then we have to vote on, we gotta vote on the other portion too, right?
What other portion?
Then we have to vote on the public,
No, I think you,
No,
I
you
think
can
just
all
vote on the whole
All
thing.
right. We're just having discussion, all right. This one in your packet. This one. No.
So just 2019 CDBG allocations as recommended by Mayor Noble as attached. So it will be that sheet attached.
Alrighty, so the committee report is gonna read 2019 CDBG allocations as recommended by Mayor Noble as attached. And this will, we'll have a clean copy of this attached to it. Do I have a motion? Right, do I have to?
You already had the motion.
Oh,
you
that's
already
right.
vote?
So you
So
just,
Somebody
motion was
set
by,
aside.
motion was by,
me. Yes.
second was by J.M.
Yeah.
All right. thought it was a hyphen there. All right, so this is going to go around. We've already had the vote on it.
Copy that gets attached. I don't have a paper clip, sorry.
We're gonna have one.
Here you go.
All these paper clips we have.
Yes.
So do we have any other unfinished business or general orders?
Tony, I have the committee report.
Okay, do we have any other unfinished business?
I don't.
No. Anybody? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion, Bill, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Good,
All right.
thank you.
Thank
Good job,
you.
Tom.
Yep.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. And now you can turn that off.
Thank you.
Say something that we're not supposed to get recorded.